so bored. I'm bored.
When the going gets bored, the board gets creative.
Move, Elton.
Move to the right.
妹妹，姐姐 help you. 妹妹等等。
This is a vacuum cleaner, and looks how it vacuums all the dust out.
Phase 2 heightened alert was announced on May 14th to curb the spread of rising COVID-19 cases in the community. Unfortunately, the restrictions also coincided with the June school holidays. In this episode of Talking Point, I find out how families are coping with restless kids and uncover some very interesting ideas to keep our children occupied. But first, let's hear from the kids about how the restrictions have affected them.
We cannot have hammers outside. We have to eat at home. Don't need to go out to Kumon and piano classes. We can go to the playground, but only with one friend. We should go out and go to 2, not 3, not 4, not 5 or 6. So if we want to go to the supermarket to buy biscuits, we must go and either mommy or daddy, not both.
I will be tracking 2 families as they navigate the midterm break amid heightened restrictions. Meet Family 1, The Cows. Dad Kelvin Cow and Mum Daphne Ling run a social media agency, a production studio, and a cafe, all while caring for 5 kids. Yep, you heard me right. 5 kids. Family 2, Dad Denny Hamid and Mum Iliana Osman, and their 2 kids aged 11 and 7. I arranged for a video call to find out how both families are coping so far.
It's been rough, man. If you can't already tell, okay, I've developed crazy eyes. So I can tell you straight up that 5 kids is too many kids to have at home 24 hours a day.
Danny and Liana, are the kids driving you crazy yet?
Yes, they fight a lot now.
Yeah, they argue a lot. They get each other's spaces and they want each their own space.
Hey, Naima.
Oh no, please, 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 please.
Hi, Kelvin is joining us.
Hello.
He's here.
Hi.
Kelvin, let me ask you then, what is the biggest challenge so far with the holidays?
I think it's finding a variety of ways to entertain them because all 5 kids are at different ages, they have different interests.
Okay, so we are at the 1 week point. Are you hopeful about the rest of the holidays?
We're hopeful people.
Optimistic always.
Very optimistic. Yeah, we hope
You
for
sound
the
like
best.
you're trying to convince yourself.
We are keeping our fingers crossed that the restrictions are going to be loosened. At least they would have like maybe 2 more weeks to enjoy the rest of the holidays.
It might just be week 1 of the holidays, but with full home-based learning kicking in 1.5 weeks before, most kids have been stuck at home for over 2 weeks now. That is enough to make any child crave the outdoors, my 3 kids included. So I planned a day out to the zoo. You guys go up first. You've got hand sanitizer, hand phone, so I can call you. Okay? You've got snacks and umbrella. Bye, sweetie. See ya, see ya. Under the zoo's guidelines, we can only move around in groups of 2. So I've decided to split us up. My eldest son will go around with my 12-year-old, while I will accompany my 9-year-old. Hello, I'm just going to stay slightly apart from you. So you have the tickets. Later, once I pass you some cash, you guys can go off, but make sure that you let me know where you are. You know, just keep this with you, okay? Off you go. Bye, have fun, sweetie, have fun. You can sit down. Mama's going to check in first, okay? Actually, the 3 of them do get along very well. So when we split up like this, they miss the group dynamics.
Do you miss mom?
How's it?
Like if she follows us around, it'll be quite fun. She can explain to us some stuff and fun facts.
I don't know, it just feels different.
Yeah, different.
Yay! It's nice that I get to spend some one-on-one time with my little one, but I do worry about how the other two are doing. So far, so good for me and my children. But it's not all roses for Danny and Ileana as they take both their kids out to the nearby playground for some fresh air.
Like very boring, very quiet. It used to be very noisy and a lot of children running from here and there.
During the period of heightened restrictions, playgrounds remain open, but children have to stick to groups of 2 or play alone.
The neighborhood down here is quite huge. Their friends are here. We try to keep it with the rules, right? So we don't inform them. We just let them play for a bit, 15-20 minutes, and we just head back home.
Because of the restrictions, many families are choosing to stay in. I want to find out what they are doing to stay sane, so I did a call out on Instagram. As a mom, I know that the school holidays can drive parents crazy. So do you have any creative ideas to entertain the kids? Tell me. And I got some pretty interesting submissions.
Wiggle competition start.
I reached out to the parents behind 2 of the most creative videos I found online.
Now, we are going to build a tent in our room.
Mum Serene Ng designed a homecation from scratch. That's a staycation for her 2 young daughters at home. An elaborate setup that involved packing their luggage, traveling to the so-called hotel, checking in,
High five! Good job in checking in.
and even a fine dining experience.
For sensory play.
Then there's Mom Eve Liu, who uses DIY crafts to incorporate sensory play for her kids.
And this boat, with the magnet and just a paper clip, we'll be able to move them around. You win the race? You want to do this again?
Ladies, that looks like incredibly fun games. Eve, why don't you tell me what gave you the ideas?
I came up with the idea to teach the kids about the magnetic principle, where she will move the boat around using a magnet and a paper clip. That's as simple as that. All these are from DIY household items, so it's nothing fanciful. Since it's a Dragon Boat Festival, she can learn about the Chinese culture.
Okay. Serene, what about yourself? Your home or hotel looks really, really immersive. How long did you spend getting that ready?
I think in total a few hours to get everything done, because it was a whole one-day kind of experience.
So a lot of mummies or daddies watching this will probably think that, yeah, this is a great idea, I want to do this, but it's just so much work. How do you get yourselves to do it?
Actually, you'll be surprised. Most of the activities I set up during the nap times, and it could be a couple of minutes. It's as easy as that.
When I see them being so happy and enthusiastic about it, and they are really learning through all the activities, I think it gives me that motivation to just keep on carrying on, yeah.
What are your top tips?
Number 1 would be to plan in advance. And number 2, you set it up during small pockets of time that they are occupied. For example, when they're having a shower or when they are having dinner.
For some parents, all that may be too onerous. So that's, of course, the easy way out. Screen time. But just how much is enough for them to catch a break this holiday without getting hooked on it? It's week 2 of the June school holidays, and I'm tracking families to see how they were coping being cooped up at home with their children amid heightened COVID-19 restrictions in Singapore.
So it's almost midnight, and our friend is still jumping on the sofa back and forth.
And this is what it pretty much looks like when you have so many kids confined in one area. I have no words.
Many parents are only getting their rare peaceful moments when this happens.
Allow them some screen time, and it's kind of a nice way for them to bond actually.
Today they are playing a video game together and we don't have to play with them, which is great. Yay!
Okay, I got all the coins.
I can't help but wonder if we should be worried about our young children gaming online. I'm finding out from Wee Jin Lee, a veteran in the tech and gaming industry. Because they're pretty much stuck at home, some kids are spending more time gaming. Should we be worried?
Parents should be concerned if their kids are not gaming. Certain games teach you problem-solving skills. Certain games teach you social skills. Certain games teach you how to work as a team. Right? These are very essential skills that we talk about. But choosing the right game, I think, is key. And playing in moderation.
So how do I pick the right game?
Okay, let me show you, Diana. It's a game called Among Us. Basically, it's a multiplayer game. It's really suitable for 9 and above. Usually, 1 or 2 of them are the imposters, and the rest are the crew members.
So how is that good for the kids?
Well, it's problem solving, right? The focus is on guessing and figuring out and social skills.
Should I be worried that my kids can speak to strangers in a game?
There's always that risk, right? But I think amongst all the games out there, this is one of the safer ones in that sense. The community also doesn't engage in a lot of negative talk. Another game I think is good for older kids is called Slay the Spire. It's really about mathematics and calculation and knowing your cards so that you can choose the right cards and play the right combo to eventually beat the boss.
Now, I've also heard that kids as young as 4 years old are playing games on their parents' mobile phones. Should kids this young be gaming?
I think children under 6 years old should only be playing educational games, things that teach you about spelling or about grammar. They shouldn't really be playing any games that are primarily for fun and entertainment. It's too young to get them exposed. Staring at a screen too long is not good.
As a parent, I used to really not like for my kids to game. But after learning about the benefits, I guess it wouldn't hurt to game in moderation. Now that's about 2 hours a day according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. And to ensure that the games you select are age appropriate, all you have to do is to check out the age rating under the game description. It's halfway into the month-long June holidays. And the stress of being stuck at home is starting to kick in for some.
One by one. Take one first, one.
But as I soon find out, no one feels it as acutely as Muhammad Hazreen and Ernie Jacinta. They struggled with home-based learning.
Okay, put how many marshmallows? 6. Okay, count. 1.
Because their 12-year-old twins are autistic, making it hard for them to adapt to the change in routine.
Every weekend we always go to grandfather's house. Okay, so now that we can't because of the 2 visitors per day thing, so they'll keep repeating, okay, today we go Atuk house. Okay, so I said, no, we cannot go Atuk house today because it's COVID. So no, we go Atuk house, we go Atuk house. So it goes for the whole day. So sometimes these kind of questions gets to us. So we feel very, very frustrated.
Hougang house. You want to go Hougang house?
So once they are used to a certain structure, it's very difficult to try to change that again.
Yeah, because kids with special needs, especially autism, they thrive on routine. So once you break that routine, that's where sometimes problem comes in. The anxiety itself will be heightened, tenfold, fivefold sometimes. That's where the tensions melt down and causes issues for the caregivers or parents.
Hazreen, has that happened during these holidays?
We still manage to have it under control, but we are very, very anxious about what's to come in the next 2 to 3 years when they are much physically bigger.
Come on, man, stand up, come, let's go have dinner.
Which of the Phase 2 heightened alert measures are the hardest for you all to cope with?
In school, they have this lesson called numeracy where they teach the children how to use money and how to apply it in our daily lives. So when we eat out usually during the weekend, sometimes I will make them pay for their food. So when phase 2 kicks in, we can't do all this because usually when we go outside to buy food, just usually the both of us, the kids will stay at home. This is like taking one step back, you know.
I hear you. So basically, the children's learning takes a step back this month.
Yes.
I can't imagine what Ernie and her family must be going through. As for me, I've been feeling really bad that my 3 kids are stuck at home most of the time. So I think I'm compensating by overfeeding them. I'm not the only one feeling this way.
I have my mom's guilt because I used to have the no TV rule, but this holiday is really an exception. I'm actually relying a lot on it.
When I run out of ideas of what to do at home, I just stuff them with lots of food.
As I would soon find out, there's actually a name for this. The pandemic parents' guilt. I find out how it affects our children. And as D-Day comes, when restrictions are eased,
Singapore will reopen from Monday as planned after a month of restrictions.
I go back to our families to see how they are spending the rest of their June holiday. I've been talking to parents to see how they are coping with the June school holidays amid the heightened pandemic restrictions. And I've discovered that many of them, like me, feel a little bit guilty that our children are not having the holiday we feel they deserve. I want to know what sort of impact this may have on our children. So I'm calling in to clinical psychologist Dr. Saveen Kang. What are the consequences of this guilt?
Children, they're living in a system, and the cornerstones of the systems are mom and dad. So if mom and dad are not feeling okay, it's safe to assume that everybody that's living in the system will experience the trickle-down effect. So we start seeing then is the entire family system being stuck in a web of fear, anxiety, and guilt. Possibly depression as well in the long run.
I feel really bad when my kids are left alone and I think that they're bored. Should I be feeling this way?
No, absolutely not. Boredom is good for children. Boredom allows us to be creative. Boredom allows children to find playful ways to manage emotions, to learn new things, and to use the resources that they currently have. And by not allowing them to do so, we're actually impacting their ability to find solutions.
So, a little boredom is good for our kids.
Singapore will reopen from Monday.
It's finally the end of Phase 2 heightened alert restrictions. Families can now gather in groups of 5.
We can go out!
And
we are free! We are free!
While dining in is allowed from this week, you can only dine out in pairs, which means families with kids might be eating in for a while more. It's the last week of the June school holidays. Because some restrictions have been lifted, I can now visit the families. So I'm going to check in on them one last time. Hi Anna! My first stop, Danny and Iliana's place, to meet them and their 2 kids, Naima and Mika. Wow, hello! We all don't like to be stuck at home, but did anything good at all come out of it?
They helped me around the house this time around because they're a little bit bigger, and that was something that was very good.
This may not be the last school holidays that we are stuck at home. How would you do it differently?
So I was thinking that the kids could actually pick up something new. Maybe they could learn the foundation of Spanish language.
I would actually try to do something that I've never done before myself, which is baking, and then I get the kids involved with it.
Mika, if you are forced to stay at home again during the school holidays, what would you like to do?
Buy a parrot.
Like a real parrot?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Can you teach it tricks?
Yeah, and even make it ride a bicycle.
Solid. Good luck. And finally, I get to meet Kelvin, Daphne.
Hey guys, come on and say hi!
And their 5 kids. This question is for the kids. On a scale of 1 to 10, can you show me how would you rate these holidays? Now, 7,
Oh, wow.
10 ah! Wow, good life. Coco is 7, 8, baby? 2 ah. Is it 2?
11.
11, so cute. Okay, you must be doing something right.
We try to make it fun for them at home. We also let them take the lead sometimes, see what they want to do for the day, and then we'll kind of like just make things happen.
It sounds like there is a lot of spontaneity and creativity at work here. If the kids have to be stuck at home again during the holidays, how would you take it on?
The older they get, right, the harder it is to get everybody involved. For the bigger ones, you have to make it really fun to get them involved. So we'll have to figure out things that they are interested in, things that are kind of cool right now.
Or we pass them the burden of responsibility to entertain the younger ones as well, which to their credit, you know, when they are feeling like it, they can be quite creative also. You know, dance parties, make-believe art classes, different fortresses done in a room.
As for Hazreen and Ernie and their twins,
Iman, look, shirt or pants? Let's continue, Iman. I'm pretty excited for them to go back to school because when you are in school, you get to communicate with your friends, you get to interact with your teachers, which are very important.
Nothing beats a face-to-face physical classroom. We look forward to getting back to normal routines.
it's sure been a wild roller coaster ride for both parents and kids this past month.
I have no words.
Let's face it, having restless kids at home 24/7 can get stressful. But as I've discovered, a little bit of boredom for the kids isn't always a bad thing. Just look at this little experiment that my youngest shared with me. All you need is some oil, food coloring, vinegar, and baking soda. And voila, you get a DIY lava lamp. So simple, and yet it gives the kids hours of fun. Try it yourself.